Hello and welcome to another blog highlight video. I am Isaiah Henkel with Cheeky Scientist, and this week's blog talks about 10 transferable skills you should include on your LinkedIn profile. And this is specifically for PhDs who want to transition into an industry job. These transferable skills are important. What is a transferable skill? Very simply, it's a non-technical skill that transfers from academia into industry. And you might be surprised by some of the mentions on this list. They seem simple: communication skills, organizational skills, but there is a very specific way you need to talk about these skills on your resume and especially on your LinkedIn profile, which is the focus here. A really good one that I want to mention here that's on the list is giving constructive feedback. Now, we learn how to give critical feedback, sometimes very critical, as PhDs, and we become very skilled at this, and it almost becomes a game in academia of who can give the harshest feedback, which is good in terms of data, because you really want to be harsh with the data and make sure you're testing it in full. But when it comes to people and their ideas, sometimes it's not a good idea, especially in industry. It's more of a collaborative, team-oriented environment, and that kind of ruthlessness in terms of picking apart somebody else's idea right away without mentioning something that they did well first, something constructive, is a big mistake. And any signs of that during the interviewing process, or the job search process in general, any signs of that on your LinkedIn profile in terms of you not understanding how important it is to be constructive, can be used against you and can keep you from getting a good industry job. Some of the other mentions on the list are simplifying complex information clearly. As a PhD, you know how to dig through a lot of information, a lot of data, and pull out the data or the information pieces that actually matter. And that's what that one discusses, and it talks about how to talk about that on your LinkedIn profile. Conflict resolution, creativity, innovation, a lot of these things go hand in hand. You face a lot of problems currently now if you're a PhD student, a postdoc, doesn't matter, TA, if you're working in a faculty, non-faculty position, you'd probably deal with problems all day. You have a lot of conflict. Anybody who's gotten their PhD knows they've had to deal with conflict. But this gives you a great ability to overcome conflict, to resolve conflict, to solve problems, to innovate. And that's what this article talks about, how to communicate those skills, because they are transferable skills that employers want to see. Decisiveness, strategic planning, these are discussed. We don't really think about decisiveness too much as PhDs. We think of more about discussing options, but sooner or later you have to decide on which option to take. And maybe your PI is the one making this decision in most cases, but that's just at the higher levels. On a day-to-day basis, especially with the experiments that you're doing or the programming you're doing or the teaching that you're doing, you're making decisions. And your ability to decide is a very important skill under that banner, decisiveness, and the article will talk a little bit more about that. Finally, product knowledge, very important. You work with products, right? Whether they're course materials or software programs, reagents, instruments. That's a crucial one that we talk a lot about at Cheeky Scientist, so make sure you read that. It's number 9 in the article. And then finally, leadership skills. You'll want to read that one too, because there are some insights beyond just the generic be a leader advice that most people will give you. So as always, remember your value as a PhD and start thinking and acting like a successful industry professional, and make sure you go and read the full article now.